Well, that definitely didn't go according to plan. Hey guys, welcome back to Bad Luck Garage. I'm over at Ray's today and we're putting a converter in the Nova. So in the last DR Nova video, you might remember we took the Nova to the drag strip. We started off running high 8s, ended up adding a little bit of timing, getting it down into the mid 8s. It was like an 8.6 was our best run. At that point we decided we needed a converter. So you guys know I'm always looking for good deals. I'd actually looked into Circle D, Freak Show, and what was the other one I called? Jake's. Yeah, I contacted Jake's through email. The problem with all those guys is for the 4L80E converters, you're looking at $600, right in that range. With the Circle D, you even have to change your flex plate out to a 4L60 flex plate. That was a little more money than I wanted to spend and a little more than Ray wanted to spend. So looking around, I found a budget option. We're gonna try that out today and I'm gonna show it to you now. So looking around online, this is what we found, guys. This is a Total Transmissions Chicago converter. This company actually builds all of its converters in-house, so these are manufactured in the US. This particular converter is a 10-inch converter, 2800 to 3200 stall. I believe we should land somewhere right in the middle with our gears and our cam and the weight of our car. And this is it, guys. It's a 10-inch converter. It has the Sonix Racing upgrade kit in it. It does have balloon plates for use with nitrous. And they rate this to 550 horsepower. Another good thing about this converter is we should be able to use our stock 4L80E flex plate, and it does use all 6 bolts, guys. A lot of the high performance converters you see, they cut you down to 3 bolts. This one actually uses all 6 mounting bolts. You know, I don't think it's a big deal needing a needing the 3 extra bolts. I'm sure the 3 bolts hold just fine, but for me, it's just added insurance and less chance of a converter bolt coming loose or something like that from vibration. So we're gonna put this thing in today, and hopefully a couple videos down the road, when we get this thing back to the track, we'll see how it performs. And the biggest thing is, this thing came to my door, out the door, I mean, no shipping, anything, $390. That is pretty substantial over what I was looking at with the higher name brand converters. So the question I have is, how is this thing going to function? And I guess we're going to find out. Now, this isn't going to be like a tutorial or anything like that, but before we get started, I did want to just kind of read off the specs on this converter to you, give you a little rundown. And here are the specs. It says rated at 550 horsepower, hand brazed turbine with heat treated input splines, furnace brazed impeller, machined front cover with anti-balloon plates, balanced pressure tested, high energy Kevlar lockup clutch lining, high performance industrial bearings, and 2800 to 3200 RPM stall. Now, I did call Tony. He is the president at Total Transmission Chicago. He and I had a conversation for about 30 minutes, and he assures me this converter is pretty much built to the same spec as, say, Circle D's budget line converters that they rate at, like, I think 500 or 600 horsepower. But again, it's $200 cheaper, and it allows you to use your stock 4L80E flex plate. So that's why I ended up going with this. I just wanted to try it out. And remember, guys, I know a lot of you are going to knock me for not, spending the extra $200 and getting a Jake's or a Freak Show or whatever, but that's kind of what this channel's about, guys. Trying to find budget options, and if I win, you guys win, because if this thing performs the way we hope it does, then you've got a budget option for your 4L80E in your LS swaps. With that being said, I'm going to put links to this converter in the description of this video if you want to go ahead and grab one, or if you want to wait for in the future when we get the Nova back to the track and test it, which I could completely understand. You can wait for that, and I'll probably put a link to it in the video where we test it as well. So for now, we're gonna get down here on the ground and start pulling this transmission. I actually went to Walmart and I bought a couple of these cheap drain pans. We want to keep the fluid clean because we're reusing it. We've only got like 400 miles on this fluid, a new transmission, so it really doesn't make any sense to just toss it. Got the fluid drained out. We've got to get the O2 sensors out of the way. We need to drop the starter, take the torque converter bolts loose, and
that's right,
drop the drive shaft. All right, guys, you can kind of see the difference. This is the old converter right here. Big, I think it's about 13 inch, and I think this one is a 10 inch. So we're gonna put some fluid in it, and then we're gonna get under here and make a freaking mess trying to get the new converter put on.
I believe we need about 4 or 5 more beers before we do it.
Yeah, 4 or 5 more beers would definitely be. Yeah, okay, guys, so here's the deal. We're gonna fill this up with fluid, and then we're gonna drink about 3 or 4 or 5 more beers.
That some bitch be in there.
And then it'll be in there. Not even gonna lie to you, here we are about 3 hours later, and we just now got this separated, got the transmission out. We definitely did not take having to pull the, hell, I'm just gonna say it, I think it would have been easier to just pull the engine and transmission together to do this than it would have been to just pull this what do you think, Ray? Yeah. All right, but we got the old converter out. We're putting the new one in now, and I've not been filming as we go because it's kind of been a nightmare, but we're getting it done. Yeah, we're getting it done, and
I had a nightmare.
Yeah, no kidding. The good news is the new converter's a lot smaller and lighter than the old one. So.
It ain't that much fucking lighter.
We'll be back in a second, guys.
Holy shit, Batman.
We about got this in, guys. New torque converter's bolted in. We're just we're kind of tying some odds and ends up.
Ain't got no damn starter,
Yeah, I'm gonna go over that here in just a few minutes, but yeah, the starter took a shit on us, guys. So it looks like we're not even gonna be able to. I was hoping maybe we could start it up and do a burnout or something, but doesn't look like that's gonna happen. What in fuck-tardation?
Take a vacation.
I know, right? Guys, one thing that has become abundantly clear is
you put a torque converter, the one you want, in first.
Yeah.
You down.
Right, yeah. Yeah, put your if you
get you a bigger stall than you want.
Yeah, if you know you're gonna want to stall later on, go ahead and put it in when you're doing your swap, guys.
Get bigger what you want, that way you can be happy.
Yeah.
There will be no problems.
Got everything tied together down here, guys. The drive shaft's still out, but there's a reason for that. Pretty much all we got left to do is we got, like, I don't know if you can see it, but we've got one more bell housing bolt that needs to go up there, and then the top middle bell housing bolt. But
that looks pretty good though.
Both, yeah, it looks good. I just clip it there. But then those have both got to go in from the top, so we've been trying to kind of button up everything down here before we move up top. All right, guys, we have got a pretty bad setback here, so I'm not sure what happened, but for some reason we were almost done, but you know, bad luck garage. Putting the last bolt in the bell housing, and yeah, the bell housing just snapped. We've got like the whole left side of the bell housing just cracked. So at this point, we're looking for a transmission. Well, that definitely didn't go according to plan. Alrighty then, it is Sunday morning. Before I edited all this footage, I decided to maybe throw this in at the end, let you guys know exactly what happened and what the plan is to fix it. So I'm not exactly sure what went wrong. The only thing we can think is either a bundle of wires or something had gotten into the top, like between the bell housing and the back of the engine, and we didn't know that. And since we were working from the bottom up, we had put the 4 bottom bell housing bolts in on each side, and then when I went to put the bell housing bolt let's see, it's the driver's side, I guess. Yeah, the driver's side top bell housing bolt. As I was putting it in, and it's really hard to get to, so I mean, I had no pressure on it at all, guys. I had a little ratcheting wrench, and I was just using 3 fingers, tightening it up, and we just heard the bell housing snap. And I'm not gonna lie, that was a very, very freaking depressing moment. And at this point, what we're doing is, I guess we're just gonna pull the transmission right back out. We were discussing last night, we were talking about possibly finding somebody to weld the bell housing, but at this point we don't know the extent of the damage. We don't know if it just broke the ear off, or you know, if the bell housing possibly could have cracked further in or what. So depending on what we find when we take the transmission back out, it was almost 1 o'clock in the morning when you saw the end of the, you know, what we were doing yesterday. So we definitely weren't pulling it back out last night. But like I said, once we get the transmission out and see the extent of the damage, if it's just the ear broke off or something, we may see if we can find somebody to weld the bell housing properly. I know I've heard horror stories about welded bell housings, and the fact of the matter is, guys, you know, people run 4 bolts in transmissions when they're doing LS swaps all the time, but what we're looking at here is 2 top bolts being broke off, and you know, only the 4 bottom bolts holding it, and that just doesn't seem like a way we want to go with it. So we're going to pull the transmission out, see if it can be fixed. If not, we're going to be looking for a new transmission. The only thing that sucks about that is the transmission we have, we know is good. The thing shifts great, doesn't slip at all. And if we go out and buy another used transmission, then, you know, we're buying an unknown. So I'd actually talked to Ray also about maybe trying to find a cheap core, like somebody that's got a 4L80 that's blown up, slipping or something like that for $100 or $150, and possibly just transferring all the insides out of this transmission into that case. But I don't know, guys. We're gonna have to figure it out, but it's kind of depressing because the DR Nova is probably going to be down for a little bit. We have a couple other things we need to do to it while it's down. We are relocating the battery to the back. We've already bought the kit for that. We've also got to figure out what's going on with the rear end wind, because it was getting worse in the last video. You guys heard that, and I don't know. So I guess what we're going to do is get the transmission out, see what our options are there. In the meantime, we'll try to get all this other stuff done to it. We've also got the Chaos Theory Camaro back here. The nitro system is hooked up. It's ready to go to the track. I'm just looking for another day off. So that's really all I got for you guys. This is not the way I wanted. Honestly, I wanted to end this video with a big, huge burnout in front of his house. So definitely not the way I wanted to end it, but we'll get it fixed, guys. That's all I can say. Not exactly sure what the time frame will be, but we will get it fixed. So stick around, see what happens. If you're not subscribed to the channel, think about subscribing, guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Remember, the product links are in the description. Now get out in the garage, get something done, and I'll see you next time here on Bad Luck Garage.